Hear me clearly. America is not a racist country.
We need to address, well, first of all, no, I don't think America is a racist country.
Our communities are not reporting these incidences. We don't want to cause more trouble, more attention to our communities.
And this story has been brought to you by racism, because racism is accepted wherever true Americans are.
Perfect.
So this is a follow-up on a story that I brought to you guys earlier this week. Portland, Oregon, 34-year-old Dalen Kesterson is behind bars right now facing assault and bias crime charges after allegedly attacking a Japanese family while yelling racial slurs on July 2nd. A woman in Michigan has come forward stating that Kesterson attacked her months ago because of her Filipino heritage while she was vacationing in Portland. She also states that he was never caught after that. Tyra Blackmon of Bay City, Michigan states that it was on Easter Sunday back on April 17th when she and her friends were enjoying a weekend vacation in Portland when a fun day took a scary turn. The Portland Police Bureau confirms officers responded to an alleged racially motivated attack at SW 10th Avenue and Yamhill Street on April 17th, but they didn't immediately confirm the connection with Kesterson. Blackmon states that she took a photo of what appears to be Dalen Kesterson after she says he brutally attacked her, and she saw him harassing multiple other people of Asian descent. Blackmon states that she and her friends were having coffee and checking out stores near the intersection of Southwest 10th Avenue and Yamhill Street when all of a sudden they allegedly saw Kesterson yelling racial slurs and chasing a teenage boy and threatening others. Quote, a woman comes out of the coffee shop who is also Asian, and she has like a full carrier of coffee in her hand. And he walks up to her and literally slams them out of her hand and starts screaming at her. It was after this incident, Blackmon stated that Kesterson allegedly continued to run after the teenage boy, and she and her friend decided to intervene and help the boy, but then he turned on them. Quote, he sees me and starts walking up to me really fast, and he says, "Are you Filipino?" And I was just frozen immediately. He grabbed the back of my head extremely hard and gripped it as hard as he could and threw me on the back of our car. I fell to the ground and kept yanking and yanking. Blackmon states that bystanders fended off Kesterson, but he left before police arrived. Blackmon states that Kesterson was so violent in the attack that he ripped strands of her hair out. In the coming months, Blackmon states little to no progress was made on her case. Blackmon states that she was furious when she learned that Kesterson was arrested on July 3rd after an alleged racially motivated attack on a Japanese family on East Bank Esplanade and was released because of not having a criminal history. Quote, I was angry. The cops are like, we're going to do everything that we can. We're going to find him, and if not, we'll help you update. I didn't hear anything for like a month or two. Blackmon states in late May, a Portland police detective got in touch with her and stated that police still had no signs of Kesterson. She feels had Kesterson been arrested months ago, the alleged racially motivated attack on a Japanese couple and their 5-year-old daughter may have been prevented. Quote, if there was more urgency to this could have been avoided. That 5-year-old kid is going to be traumatized forever. That dad is going to be traumatized forever. On Tuesday, Kesterson pled not guilty by phone to assault and bias crime charges. He was taken into custody Wednesday after failing to appear in court. Kesterson is set to stay behind bars until July 22nd for preventative detention hearing. Tyra Blackmon also stated that she contacted the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office after seeing media coverage of Kesterson. The news organization was also able to confirm with the DA's office that they are now investigating the case involving the alleged attack of Tyra Blackmon and will provide updates next week. Color me surprised when I ran across the story and they stated that he has a history of doing this, and this is not the first and only time that he has done that, but that he has attacked multiple Asian people, Asian families. And this is not his first time attacking a minor. This is his second, or more than likely, possibly, potentially his third time. Because as you were able to hear from Tyra Blackmon, her instance of dealing with Kesterson was never founded. It was never solved. It was just an open case that never went anywhere. The only time it went somewhere was when the same exact attack, if not worse, basically happened to a family that Kesterson decided to see and throw out racial slurs, wanted to antagonize, and wanted to go directly after this vulnerable family because he felt big and bad and he felt that he could. But as I stated to you guys before, so few Asian people, if barely any at all, will come forward and talk about what it is that took place and be honest and shine a spotlight directly on this. Now, I'm pretty sure on social media, right, some people knew a little bit about this. And I'm pretty sure that more than likely Miss Blackmon has a TikTok, maybe an IG. I didn't really search, but usually whenever things like this happen, people will go to social media to bring awareness, to shine a light, to let other individuals know that, yo, there's dangerous individuals out here. Yo, this is the person that did XYZ. Please be very cautious and be on the lookout. This person is dangerous, and they have a propensity to do this, and this. So my main thing is this: if you have Miss Blackmon who reported this, and she is Asian herself, and she had a friend that was directly with her. Then you also had the young man that was being attacked by Kesterson. More than likely, you had other people that also could testify and state that, yeah, we saw this happen. Why is it that out of all of those things and all of those people that can bring awareness, why is this story silent? Why was it allowed not only by Kesterson and others in the community, but also by the police? Why was all of this allowed? How is it possible that, in a sense, regardless of how it is that as a community, Asian people tend to look at a lot of these attacks and how it is that they want to, in a sense, overlook and sweep it directly under the rug? Why is it that the Asian community and supporters of the Asian community, right, and Pacific Islanders, why is it that they don't come out, use their social media platform, and speak for the Asian community to bring awareness? If the Asian community don't want to bring awareness to it because they feel that other things are going to happen, fine, so be it. This is when those supporters, right, those social justice warriors, are supposed to roll up, supposed to hear that rallying cry, use their social media platform in order to bring awareness to this so that it can stop, so that these things won't happen. Wasn't it not too long ago that you had a huge Korean boy band sensation by the name of BTS show up in the United States, and they were speaking on behalf of the Asian community and talking about the Asian hate and a lot of the things that were going on? They're not even Americans, and they were coming here talking about what specifically was transpiring. So I'm a little bit confused. I'm highly confused on how these things are working.
Asian Americans have weaponized our proximity to whiteness in order to murder Black people. George Floyd and Latasha Harlins should be here today, but they aren't because of our individual actions and our collective inaction. We can't just blame white people for pitting us against each other either, because the fact of the matter is that Asian cultures have a huge colorism problem and a huge problem with Black people.
You know what? I forgot. I had to remind myself where I was and the people that I was dealing with. Like she stated before, and like I said, there's only so few people out there that will actually be honest about things that transpire within their own communities, right? Everybody in the whole world pretty much knows every single fault and every single thing about Black people, right? I almost feel like the whole world knows, I guess, Black people better than they know themselves, right? But yet, what Black people don't know and understand is everybody else in the world. Why is that? Because the world has not decided to showcase the very same stories, the exact same incidences and scenarios, right? One person out of the whole world has to be the villain, while everybody else, in a sense, has to be the hero and the good guy. That villain is Black people, and the hero and the good guy is pretty much everybody else in the world that isn't Black. But as you were able to hear, right, from an Asian American, is the fact that the Asian community suffer from a lot of colorism and racism amongst their own people, because a lot of them, right, the actual versions of them have a lot of melanation. But you don't never get a chance to really see these individuals on television because they're not going to show you that. They're going to show you the most porcelain type, right, of Asians. But when you go to these countries, you will see the real demographic that is there, that can't be hidden behind cameras and movies and stories and dramas and all these other things. You're going to see this, but then you're also going to see the reality that a lot of these Asians in their countries, when they go to their stores or their beauty supplies, whatever they want to call it, they buy a lot of different bleaching soaps and creams to lighten, if not whiten, their skin, because it is bad to have melanin in your skin. It is deemed as something, as a negative, as something that is evil, something that is undesirable, something that is poor, right? The poor are the ones that have the darker skin. The ones that are lighter are the ones that excel, the ones that are more intelligent, so on and so on and so on. So you see how they have their system and how they treat their people the exact same way, right? So if we want to go to another portion of the Asians, we can go to the Indians, right? The Indians from India, right? And you can look at the system that they have in place, right? But if you look at television and so on, you'll see more of the fairer complected, more of the lighter complected Indians versus the overwhelming majority there who are highly melanated, because they're in a land of which it is very hot, it is very humid, and they need melanation in order to protect themselves from the sun. If they didn't have that melanation, their population wouldn't even be what it is at this moment in time, and that's just a fact. But like I said before, you got to understand the people that you're dealing with and why it is that they decide to move the way that they move. If anything, if at any point in time a black person says anything that can be deemed as racist, does anything that can be deemed as racist or hate crime, a charge is going to get brought up. But if at any moment in time it just so happens to be somebody that is Caucasian, aka their God, then nothing is pretty much going to happen. As I stated to you before, you have you have a Asian woman by Miss Blackmon and her friend, and then you also have the Japanese family, both who were attacked by the exact same Caucasian man. Both of them were honest about the attack and reported the attack, but yet it went on, and he was, in a sense, let loose on the world in two different areas around the United States for so long that you more than likely have many more other attacks that took place, but those other people just aren't going to be so open about bringing this up and talking about it, out of that fear that's automatically been instilled within them, out of that fear, knowing the fact that if they speak out, their other people are going to look down on them and they're not going to help them speak out or help them out if anything happens, because they don't want to be in proximity if something bad does happen. So like I said before, it's a lot of things going on in the Asian community that the Asian community don't even want to be honest about within themselves. You have all of the support in the world, in a sense. You have all of the protections that America can, in a sense, give you. You've also received a certain type of form of reparations to your community, to your schools, your businesses, and your neighborhood, and your people. And yet, these things are still prevalent, these things are still happening, and these things are still not even getting reported properly, even though you have the facilities in place in order to shelter and cover you. Like I said, I don't know what else to tell people at the end of the day.